Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate the interview. Can you state your name?
Yeah, Jason Cheney.
What sort of work do you do?
Ah, Transportation, repair shop, a little bit of everything.
You work in a repair shop?
I own a repair shop. Then I have a trucking company too.
Are you affiliated with any specific political parties?
Not really. I mean, there's stuff I like about the Republicans. Not really much I like about the Democrats at all. Um, I'd go with independent because I have my own particular views and they don't line up with any particular party.
Okay. So, as a business owner, which one of the two policies from the Trump administration do you feel is the most important for society? Their tax cuts and job acts, or their immigration policies?
Hmm. I mean, the tax cuts help a little bit, but immigration's more important to me than tax cuts. I mean, the tax cuts, as a small business, I don't see a bunch of. I mean, large corporations do, but I don't see much of. So that doesn't really do much for me. But immigration policies, that hits closer to home.
What impact do you think illegal aliens have on the economy?
Well, it depends on what aspect you're talking about. Like, if job market, they come in, they'll work for lower wages than most American workers will work for. But they also do jobs that most American workers don't want to do either. So they kind of come in and take what's left. Which, I mean, American dream is come to America and try to make it in society, but there's correct pathways to come to America, and people can do it. I mean, there's lots of people that come to America legally. You know what I mean? Growing up in Texas, you see a lot of Mexicans that come across the border that don't have a work visa, don't have a green card, they have nothing, don't speak a lick of English, but I'll tell you what, they can run a farm pretty good. and they'll work for $8 an hour, to the table. And most farmhands make 12 and 14, so it takes jobs away from certain people, but then at the same time, they're doing some stuff that most people would want to do anyway. The problem I have with it is they don't pay taxes. When you're getting paid at the table, there's no tax dollars coming in. So that doesn't help the U.S. as a whole. So yeah, the farmer saves a little bit of money by under the table labor. They make some money. We're losing jobs because of it, but the most important part is we're losing income tax from it. So it's not benefiting us. Then on top of it, most of them are on some sort of a welfare, plan or whatnot, and which is fine. I mean, it's the stuff is there for a reason, but the issue being is tax dollars pay for that. So now they're not paying into a system that they're collecting from. So now it becomes a drain on society, a leech that's sucking income out of the United States, and it's not working very well.
How do you feel about the deportation of illegal immigrants?
Like I said, there's proper channels to come here. If you want to be in America so bad, if you think it's such a wonderful place, for one, you should come here and try to assimilate to the culture some. You know what I mean? We don't have our own particular culture per se, but for the most part, we speak English. If you're going to come to the United States, try to learn enough English to at least get by. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to be speak fluent, perfect English or whatnot, but try to assimilate to the culture somewhat. Coming here and badmouthing the country, or coming here as a criminal and doing illegal activities here, I'm not a fan. It's just stay in your own country. Deportation. If you came here illegally and you're working on a table and you're collecting benefits, I'd rather not have you here, because at that point you're costing the U.S. money we could use to better us. Our infrastructure's kind of sad. I mean, I've been to other countries. They're nicer. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. Their roads are in better shape. Their bridges are in better shape. Their airports look nicer. We could, if we weren't spending money in places that we shouldn't be spending money, we could use that money in other places for better resources for us. We have our own homeless people. Why are we importing them? We have our own hungry people. Why are we importing them? It's, to me, if you can't self sustain, why are you reaching out? You got to be able to help yourself first. As long as you can survive and you're good, then you can help other people. But if you're helping other people and you're suffering from it or not surviving from it, you're doing something wrong. I just feel like you got to start at home.
Do you agree with illegal immigrants being held in immigration detention centers and then being prosecuted as criminals?
You broke the law to come here. There's a lot of different laws as a business that I have to jump through hoops for. Vendors licenses and business licenses and taxes and there's a lot of different hoops. But if I don't do those, I'm breaking the law. So I would expect to then have to pay the consequences for it. So if you don't follow the proper channels to come here, you're breaking the law. So you are a criminal. And there's different, you know what I mean? Like you have white collar criminals and you have blue collar criminals and you just have murderers, you know what I mean? There's different types of crime, but it's still crime. Yeah, the majority of them aren't coming here to cause damage or deal drugs or do anything illegal, but they came here illegal. They still broke the law. There's ways to get here. Talk to your embassy, talk to ours, try to, you know what I mean? Apply for a visa, come here on a work visa and then apply for citizenship, do something. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to do it. Not necessarily, jumping across the river and working in a farm in Texas under the table.
What are your opinions of the children of these illegal immigrants who are being held at the immigration detention centers, being separated from their parents?
See, that's the worst part. The parents making a bad decision, but it affects the child. The child didn't do anything wrong to deserve what they're getting, okay? The parents are basically dealing them a bad hand. And I'm not saying where they're coming from is any better, but if you're aware of what's going to happen, if you're aware that you run the risk of getting deported and getting separated from your kid, you're taking that risk. The problem is you're putting the kid at risk in the process. As a parent, you should be smarter than that. You should try to find ways to come here legally so that you don't have to worry about going through those problems. They're creating their own problem. That's the issue. It's not so much that ICE or Trump or whoever's causing these problems. They're causing their own problem. We're just beginning to enforce our border policy, which is, I'm sorry to say, in my lifetime, the first time I've really seen it in action. I mean, yeah, some stuff happened with Obama, some stuff happened with Clinton, but it really didn't start getting put in your face until Trump decided, you know what, this is enough. And that's the problem. There's countries, in this world that if you cross the border, you go to prison. You don't get out. You know what I mean? And here you get medical, you get a food stamp card, you get cash assistance, and you get to work on the table and not pay taxes. I'd swim across the river for that. You know what I mean? Like if you make it so, if you put a birthday cake in front of a kid, he's going to go after it. Well, that's what you're doing. You're giving them anything and everything they could want to come here, risk-free. Well, now there's risk involved. Maybe you'll start coming here legally so that we can at least have tax-paying citizens coming in instead of drains on the economy.
Do you believe that the travel ban that was put in place by President Trump has been effective in reducing the number of illegal immigrants that are associated with terrorist groups?
That's another tough one. The basic idea of that is there's particular areas in the world that have extremely large amounts of terrorist groups like ISIS or Al Qaeda or whatever, insurgents. This is a term they like to throw around in the news, but so basically the idea is if you keep people from those areas from coming, it lessens the chance of terrorists coming with it. You know what I mean? Which it's probably a decent idea. Is it really effective? I don't know. I guess we'll have to. News is the jury's still out. We'll have to kind of watch how it goes. But I would say it's at least we're taking an effort to do something rather than just sitting on our hands, which is what I'm sadly to say our government usually does for decades. They just kind of sit on their hands and it'll go away. No, it doesn't go away unless you do something about it. Well, first time in my lifetime we're actually aggressively doing something about it. So hopefully it goes good, but so far the jury's still out. I don't have an answer on that one.
I have one final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that immigration should continue to be allowed as long as it's done legally?
Absolutely. I mean, it's anybody that wants to go anywhere in this world should be allowed to go there. I don't. Maybe with the exception of North Korea, I don't think anybody would want to go there. but hey, Rocket Man started talking, and things are getting better there. But it's not that people shouldn't be allowed to come here. It's that if you come here, you should expect to work, pay your taxes like everybody else does, because it's just part of life, and contribute to the system, not take away from it. If you come here and you're willing to contribute to the system and hard work and just put your nose down to do it. I've been doing it my whole life. It's old, but I'd love to retire at some point. But maybe it'll be my cars the next 50 years. But for the most part, yeah. I mean, I welcome people to come. It's not that, and I think every American would pretty much go along with the same idea. I welcome you to come if you're planning on contributing to society. If you're planning on being a leech, even the people that are here, that were born here, that are they're U.S. citizens, I don't really care for them being here if they just want to leech on the system. I'm not a fan. I've always been a hard worker. I expect people to want to work hard. The sad part, and it's nothing against your generation, but the younger generation where you fit into tend to be some of the, with lack of a better term, laziest generation in the workforce that I've ever met. I've had probably 8, 9 of them in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're not real energetic. As much as they can find ways to get out of work, as they do. It's I'm hoping it turns around. I mean, it's in my lifetime. It's really interesting to see how fast things have went downhill as far as the workforce. Americans want to be the first ones to stand up and beat their chests when they do something great, but they're also the ones that want to fight for higher wages and things like that. And what happens in that battle is you get paid more, well then you get more expected out of you, but you're not giving a better quality or a higher quality product, and then it's cheaper to go to the country get it made. So hopefully things get a little better. I mean, you're here, you're trying, you're making an effort. I like that. So compared to most people your age, you seem like you got more going on. So that's a good thing. Maybe things are looking up. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for your time for doing the interview and sharing your opinions even on my generation.
It's like I said, it's not particularly you. I'm not trying to group you into it. I mean, you're just in the age bracket. I mean, you're still young yet. I mean, you haven't really hit the workforce yet. You're still doing the school thing, so keep at it. And just remember, hard work never hurt anybody.
Well, okay then.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.